What is up guys, it's Cal, and with more information pouring out day by day about Shadowlands, I think it'll be interesting to look over what characters will be coming back in Shadowlands. It is the land of death after all. Now I want to start off by saying that Blizz did have a Q&A about this, and they said that we won't be seeing everyone who's died come back, or even our favorite lore characters for that matter. They don't want it to be like a greatest hits or anything like that, which I am happy about, because that would be extremely corny. I mean, it would be a bit ridiculous to see Varian at one part, and then the next chapter we see Arthas, and then we see Tyrannus Menethil, and then we see Garrosh, and then we see Neltharion. You get what I mean. That would take the excitement out of any new character we see, if we just saw every major lore character that has died in Warcraft lore. Trust me, I really like Varian Wrynn, but I don't think it would make much sense to see him in Shadowlands. Now, Tiffin Wrynn, his wife and Anduin's mother, might be a little more interesting since she hasn't been in World of Warcraft. But anyways, we're getting a little ahead of ourselves. Let's first talk about the characters that have already been confirmed to be in Shadowlands that have previously died. So when Shadowlands was first announced, they said that Uther the Lightbringer, Draka, who's Thrall's mother, Cenarius, and kael'thas will be returning. Uther will be in Bastion, Draka will be in Maldraxxus, Cenarius will be in Ardenweald, and kael'thas will be in Revendreth. Now, as of recording this video, the only place that we have explored in the alpha is Bastion, where we get to see the new Uther model. There he is. It's a Carrion Uther. It looks pretty neat. We don't have Draka or Cenarius' new model yet, but we do have kael'thas's, who is a boss in the new Castle Nathria raid. I guess death was merely a setback. Now since BlizzCon, it has been confirmed that Ysera will be in Shadowlands. She did have a pretty sad death in Legion, but her showing up in Shadowlands along with Cenarius is pretty interesting and may have some retconning in place. In lore, it said that the wild gods and nature-type beings are sent to the Emerald Dream when they die, only to spend time there and recover until they come back to the real world. That's why in Cataclysm we opened up a portal to the Emerald Dream for Cenarius to come through to fight Ragnaros, and then at the end of the Emerald Nightmare raid in Legion we see Ysera in the Emerald Dream. So Ardenweald, although in the Shadowlands, must hold some ties to the Emerald Dream. I mean, it's kind of obvious with the architecture there. It's also filled with a bunch of fairies, but it's also been confirmed that kel'thuzad will be returning and will be in Maldraxxus. Not a dungeon or raid boss, but there is a scenario involving him. Lady Vash, who is now known as Baroness Vash, will be playing a part in the Shadowlands as well. She'll be tested in the House of the Chosen along with Alexandros Mogre. We don't have his model, but we know that there's a scenario with him as well. Hakar the Soulflare will be returning as well. The final boss of Zul'Gurub will be the first boss of a 5-man dungeon, the other side. The second boss of the dungeon will actually be the Mana Storms. Yep, Millhouse and Maleficent Mana Storm will be making a return in Shadowlands, and the final boss of the dungeon will actually be Muzala. He's not been in World of Warcraft, but he has some very significant lore. He was another Loa of Death and is Bonsomdi's boss pretty much. Speaking of Bonsomdi, he will be in a scenario along with Vol'jin, figuring out who spoke to him to make Sylvanas Warchief. Spoiler alert, it's Muzala. Now Vol'jin's not really dead, he's a Loa. We saw him in Battle for Azeroth after he was killed in Legion, but he will be back for Shadowlands. Now, who else? What other dead characters will be making a return to Shadowlands? Well, there's a few I have in mind, like possibly Anastarian Sunstrider. kael'thas is coming back, so why not his father? To me, it is more interesting seeing characters that were in Warcraft but not in World of Warcraft make an appearance in Shadowlands. Well, a vision of Anastarian did show up during Wrath of the Lich King, but he wasn't a major part of the expansion at all. So why not throw in Anduin Lothar as well, the mentor to Varian? If we don't get Varian Wrynn, then they could at least give us Anduin Lothar, and I think both of them would work well with Bastion. Dranosh Sarfang would be interesting as well, since he was killed by the Lich King and then resurrected as Death Knight to be an Ice Crown. He died too young, I feel like. Maybe he reconciled with Varrock Sarfang and they reside in Maldraxxus. Who knows? I've heard some people talking about wanting Dalen Proudmoore to make an appearance here, and I just don't see it really. I mean, he was kind of a lazy ruler and had no real significance other than being Jaina's father. But anyways, for Ardenweald, dead Loas or wild gods would fit here, I feel like. It has actually been confirmed that Rezan will be back in Shadowlands, so maybe he'll be in Ardenweald, possibly along with Ashamain. That might be interesting. Revendreth, I have no clue really. Maybe Zayla and Broxigar? I do think it would be really neat to see Broxigar somewhere in the expansion. He was the only one able to inflict a wound on Targaryen with a weapon forged by Cenarius. Adelis Blackmore would be interesting to see somewhere as well, possibly in the Maw, who knows. He was the one who took Thrall in after his parents were murdered and then treated orcs as slaves. And Gul'dan? Nah, I'm honestly sick of seeing his disgusting face. I think Gul'dan should be gone for good. And let's be honest, Arthas will probably be in the expansion as a fan service. Blizz has been asked in a Q&A if Arthas will be returning, and their answer was pretty much wait and see. So take that as you will. And finally, the one who I think it would be absolutely ridiculous to not have in the expansion, ner'zhul. I mean, ner'zhul's a given. He has to be in the expansion. Kil'jaeden bounded ner'zhul's spirit to the Helm of Domination, so you'd think that ripping the helm apart would release his spirit or something. I will be thoroughly disappointed if ner'zhul is not in the expansion. I'll say that much. There's 1,001 possible lore characters that Blizz has to choose from to show up in Shadowlands, and although it would be epic to see some of our favorites like Arthas, Saurfang, and others, that epicness will diminish if it's oversaturated. So I'd like to hear who you guys want to see in the expansion. You can leave in the comments below, because as soon as I get an alpha invite, come on Blizzard, I'm waiting, I'll be making tons of new alpha content. But anyways guys, that's the entire video. Feel free to leave a like on it if you enjoyed it, sub to the channel for more videos like this, and I will see you guys in the next video.